Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
Hello friends, in this class let's study about Miller indices. What are Miller indices? Basically, Miller indices indicates the mathematical aspects of unit cells, which includes planes and directions. So let's begin. So, what are Miller indices? As you know, Miller indices is nothing but as mathematical notation. Now, mathematical notation for what? They're used to represent planes and directional vectors in crystals. Now, why are mathematical notations important? Mathematical notations are important because it helps us to analytically examine the crystal structures. So, to begin, we have a crystal. This is the x-axis, this is the y-axis, and this is the z-axis. Now, this you can see the yellow one is the plane, and this, the red colored arrow, is the direction vector. Now, this direction vector enables us to identify the position of an atom in the unit cell. Now, why it is useful? First of all, by using Miller indices notations, we can show the dislocation on inside a crystal. Now, what is dislocation? Let's suppose an atom that used to be here has now shifted at this position. So, we need to indicate the distance by which the atom has shifted. Or maybe this is the plane, as we indicated, is now shifted here. We need some mathematical notation to analyze this. Secondly, it is also used to study the optical properties of a crystal. As you know, diamond is a crystal, and optical properties includes its light, its luster, its purity, and of course its luster. So, using this, we can also study the optical properties. Secondly, we can also study the adsorption and reactivity of the crystal. Do remember, this is not the reactivity in chemical terms, this is the reactivity in terms of optics. Now, first study the Miller directions. Now, what are Miller directions? Miller directions are nothing but as a vector. As you know, a vector has a starting point and an ending point. This is called as the origin of the vector, and here the vector terminates. So, how would you read the Miller direction indices? Well, again, recalling this unit cell, we have in square parenthesis, always remember Miller directions are in square parenthesis denoted by H, L, and K, where H represents the x-axis coefficient, L represents the y-axis coefficient, and K represents the z-axis coefficient. We'll take an example. Here, the coefficients of the x-axis or H is 0, the coefficient for y-axis is 1, and for coefficient z-axis, we have 2 by 3. Now, first of all, it is an important point to know that Miller directions are only represented in whole numbers. They can only be in whole numbers. Be it negative or be it positive, it's okay, but the number should always be in whole. Secondly, what if the numbers are not in whole? For example, this is the fraction 2 by 3. So, to convert this into an integer, we'll multiply it by 3 throughout. So, multiplying this by 3 out, we'll get 0, 3 and 2. Here 3 multiplies by 0 gets 0. When 3 gets multiplied by 1, it gives 3. And when 3 gets multiplied by 2 by 3, the ratio is 2. So, the Miller indices that we get resultant is 0, 3 and 2. Now, what is the difference between this Miller indice and this value? The difference is this cannot be accepted as Miller directions. Only this can be accepted as Miller directions. So, this conversion is very much necessary. Now, what if the values are negative? Well, let's take an example. We have 1, -3 and -1 by 2. Here you can see 3 and half are in negative. So we'll see the negative part later. First, as we knew earlier, we'll convert it into an integer form. So multiplying by 2 throughout, we'll get 2 minus 6 and 1. Now, here the numbers which are negative are -1 and -6. So we will give a bar notation for this. Here, do remember the negative numbers are always denoted with a bar. So we have 2, 6 bar and 1. Here 6 bar is nothing but as -6 and 1 bar is nothing but as -1. So this is how Miller indices are being read. Now let's get some through good examples. Here an example, we have 1, 2, 1. Now here it is given as 1 to 1. They are of course in the Miller directions form. Yes, they are Miller directions. But can you plot Miller directions? Of course no. You cannot plot Miller directions directly. So what you need to do? You need to reverse the process. As you know, in the earlier slide, let's take an example. We have 1, 2, 1 as Miller directions given. So what we will do? We will scale it down. Now, how to scale it down and why to scale it down? Can we not plot 1 to 1? Yes, it is a valid Miller direction. It can be plotted, but we always assume this unit cell has a magnitude of 1 unit. So if it has a magnitude of 1 unit, of course you need to normalize this given Miller direction into 1 magnitude unit. So how would you do that? You would divide this number by the maximum value it has. Now in this we have the maximum value as 2. So we'll divide this entire thing by 2. So we'll be having 1 by 2, 2 by 2 and 1 by 2. So normalized value would be 1 by 2, 1 and 1 by 2. How would you plot this? Now the point could be represented somewhere here. Now this is the direction, or this is the distance from the on the y-axis. This is the distance from the x-axis, and z-axis is here below. So if you draw perpendicularly, this would be the distance on the z-axis. So as you can see, the distance on the x-axis is half. We have moved half units on the x-axis. On the y, it is 1 units. On the y, we have 1 units. We have directly moved on to the top. And for z, we have half units again. So the vector would be originating from the origin, which is 0, 0, 0, and terminating at the right point, which I have indicated. This would be the Miller direction. Now, if I multiply this 1 to 1 by 2, which becomes 2, 4, and 2. Here also, the values indicate proper values of Miller indices. But can we of course plot them again? No, we cannot plot because we are considering unit cell's magnitude to be 1 unit. So again we'll normalize, we'll divide it by 4, which is the maximum value, and finally we'll be getting the same coordinates as we used to get earlier. So overall the crux of the story is, if you multiply by any integer with this, you will be getting the same Miller indices or the same Miller directional indices. Now we'll be doing some questions on Miller indices or Miller directions. Here it is, a unit cell. Now the value is 0, 2 and 3. So what we will do, we will again first of all normalize this. We'll be normalizing by dividing with the maximum, that is 3. So dividing 0 by 3, 2 by 3 and 3 by 3, we'll be getting coordinates as 0, 2 by 3 and 1. Now let's plot the point on the 3-dimensional Cartesian coordinates. So x we have 0, y we have 2 by 3 and z we have 1. So here is how the vector would go. On this point, if you can see, x is 0, y is 2 by 3 approximately, and z, you can see z is 1 unit. So this is the point and this is the Miller direction. We'll have a second question, which is 0, 3, 0. Again, it is not normalized for a unit cell, so we'll be dividing it by 3 throughout, and the values that we'll get is 0, 1, 0. And 0, 1, 0, in short, we have x coordinate as 0, y coordinate as 1, and z coordinate 0. The point would appear somewhere here. So this is how the Miller direction vector would point out. In the next question, we have 1, 1 bar, and 2. Now, here 1 bar indicates negative, which is -1, and of course, as you can see, it cannot be plotted on a unit cell vector. So seeing the maximum value, which is 2, we'll divide the entire directional coordinates by 2 to get a value something like this. We'll get 1 over 1 bar, 1 over 2 bar, or 1 by 2. As you can see here, y coordinate is -1, but we are considering positive x-axis, positive z-axis, and positive y-axis. In our unit cell, we don't have negative y-axis, which we need to plot this directional vector. So what we will do? We will extend the y-axis downwards. So this would be negative y-axis, and will replicate the entire unit cell which is on top and below. So this is how it would appear like. Now, as you can see, we have a unit cell which is on the top, and now we have a unit cell which is in the bottom side as well. Now, here you can surely plot -1 in y direction, and this value would be somewhere here. As you can see, x is 1, so on x coordinate we'll be moving 1 units, and on y coordinates we would be moving -1, which is downside, and on z we have 1 by 2, so the value would somewhere be like here. Now, starting from origin and terminating at this blue dot, we'll be drawing a directional vector. This would be the directional vector for 1, 1 bar, and 2. Now, taking next example, we have a unit cell and we have a random Miller direction whose A coordinates or the origin coordinates are 0, 1, 1 by 3, and B coordinates or termination coordinates are 2 by 3, 0, and 1. Now, we need to find out Miller indices of this directional vector. The step would be final minus initial. As you have B minus A, B is your final or the termination, and A is your origin. Always remember, to solve such of the questions, you always have to take final minus initial or termination minus the origin. Or you can say these are the coordinates of termination and these are the coordinates of origin. I'll find the difference, and the difference would come out to be 2 by 3 minus 1 and 2. Now, how would you do this? You would be subtracting x with x, y with y, and z with z respectively. Now, you will be getting this value as 2 by 3 minus 1 and 2 by 3 again. Now, of course, to rationalize this, we'll be multiplying by 3 throughout. Why do we do this? Of course, because these fractions cannot represent Miller directions. So we would be multiplying it by 3. Now, by multiplying it by 3, we'll get 2 minus 3 and 2. Now, converting this minus 3 into bar form, we'll be having 2, 3 bar and 2. Well, these type of questions are very much prominent in your Viva questions, where they will be mentioning you some 3 random coordinates of the origin and 3 random coordinates of the termination, and you need to find out the Miller directions. Now, let's take some more questions on Miller directions on the same concept. Now, as you can see, this is the unit cell and this is a vector, the Miller directional vector, which originates from here and terminates here. We have the coordinates mentioned as 0, 1, 1 and termination coordinates as 1, 0, 0. So what we would be doing to find out this? We would be doing termination minus origin. So it is b minus a. As you can see, b is the termination and a is the origin. So it is termination and this is the origin. If you subtract this, you will be getting a value 1, minus 1 and 1. Now, since these values are less than 1 in x, y and z coordinates, we would not be rationalizing it because this can be plotted in a unit cell. So b minus a, we would be getting 1, minus 1 and 1. Since this is rationalized, we would be directly converted into the bar form, which is 1, 1 bar and 1. So the answer to this question, what does the Miller indices for this vector is? These are 1, 1 bar and 1 bar. Taking the next question, we have this vector. Of course, as you can see, this is the origin, this is the termination. Origin is represented as point P, which is 0, 0, 0, and termination is point Q, which is 1, 1, 0. Now, again, Q minus P, as you can see, this Q is your termination and this P is your origin. You will subtract this, 1, 1, 0 minus 0, 0, 0, you will get 1, 1, 0. Now, again, these values are rationalized, so we do not need to rationalize this further. Why? Because these can be plotted in a unit cell. So, Q minus P, as you can see, is 1, 1, 0. Now, take next example. Here we have termination point already as the previous questions, which is A, 0, 1, 1. But the origin point here is M, 1, 0, 1. So again, doing the same thing. Now, here it would be, this is the origin, this M is the origin and A is the termination. So it is A minus M. So subtracting M from A, we'll get minus 1, 0, 0. Again, this is rationalized. So the Miller directionals would be 1, 0, 0. Of course, 1 would be having a bar because it's negative sign. Now, let's study about Miller planes. Well, this concept is very important, and Miller directions and Miller planes, you can say 80% of the focus in your syllabus is given to Miller planes rather than Miller directions. Now, we'll study how to recognize and how to read a Miller plane. So, as you can see, this is the unit cell. Miller planes are given in the round brackets. Now, unlike the Miller directions, which are given in the square brackets, here also, for example, you have 0, 1 and 2 by 3. Of course, this 2 by 3 you need to rationalize because these h, l and k can only be integers. So, we'll be multiplying it by 3 throughout. So, we'll be getting 0, 3 and 2. Again, if value is negative, minus 3, no worries. First, we would be rationalizing it to get integers and then we would be putting bar. If you recall, we got the same values for Miller directions as well. But the only difference is Miller planes are denoted in round brackets, whereas Miller directions are denoted in square brackets. Now, let's take an example to understand this. Now, we have a unit cell. We need to plot 1, 0, 0. So what is the step? So first, we would be taking the reciprocal. Now, this step is very critical because this step helps you to identify how to draw a Miller directional plane. Now, is it like you cannot draw by using this only Miller given planes, or you just need these intercepts? Well, no. If you become prominent enough, if your speed becomes or if your accuracy becomes prominent enough, you can use Miller planes to draw the plane. But if not, you can also use the intercept way. So this is the Miller plane representation and this is the intercept representation. As we are more used to intercept, or we can say we are more used to draw intercepts on the x, y and z axis, we prefer this way. Now, as you can see, how to reach from Miller plane to the intercept? Well, the way is very simple. First, you need to take the reciprocal of the Miller plane coordinates. As you can see, I have taken 1 upon 1, 1 upon 0 and 1 upon 0 also. Now, why this 1? Now, well, the reason to is this is because we are considering a unit cell having unit dimension, or I can say it is unit length on x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. if it would have been A, B and C, my ratio would have been A upon 1, B upon 0 and C upon 0. This would be happening only if my unit cell is having A length on the x-axis, B length on the y-axis and C length on the z-axis. But since for simplicity we are considering a simple cubic cell which is having equal directions or equal length on x, y and z, which is 1, we would be using only this. Now, so I'll getting the result as 1, infinity and infinity. What does this mean? This means that my Miller plane intersects the x-axis at 1 units, but it does not intersect at y and z. Why? Because the intercepts are infinity, or I can say it meets the x at 1, y and z at infinity. So this is how my plane would be like. As I can see, this is the plane which is parallel to the y-axis. It is also parallel to the z-axis, but this cuts the x-axis. Well, to give you a simple trick, this is a shortcut. As you can see, the Miller plane indices, it is 1, 0, 0. You just need to figure out where the value is non-zero. Wherever the value is non-zero, that would be the point on which it meets that particular coordinate. For example, in this you can see this is 1, so you can consider this particular plane will cut x-axis at 1 unit. Since you have 0 and 0 on the y and z, you can say this plane will not cut the y-axis and z-axis. Why? Because the coordinates are 0, as you can see. So this is how the plane would look like. This is my plane. As you can see, this plane will cut the x-axis. This is how it has cut the x-axis, but it is not cutting the y-axis and z-axis. Now, let's identify Miller indices for cubic faces. Now, as you know, a cube has 6 faces, so we have drawn all the 6 faces, and now we'll be studying about the Miller indices for the same. Using the same trick, I'll be solving this. As you can see, in the first question here, this plane is cutting only the x-axis at 1 unit, but it is not touching x and y. So I can say for x it is 0 because it is not touching, for y it is 0 again, and for z it is 1. So it is 0, 0, 1 for this. Similarly, how about this? Now, if you try to solve this, you would come up with, okay, if this is touching here at 1 unit on the z-axis, here it was cutting at 0 on the z-axis. Well, no. The reason is, as you know, planes parallel to each other can be shifted here and there. For example, if I have a plane here, it can be moved parallel to here, it can be moved parallel to here. It does not changes the Miller directional coordinates. So for here, again it is 0, 0, 1. Now why it is 0, 0, 1? Because this plane is parallel to this plane. Or I can say the plane of B is parallel to the plane of A. So they have same Miller indices. Now, let's take this example. This plane cuts the x-axis. So I'll be having 1 and then followed by 2 zeros because it is not cutting the y-axis and z-axis. Similarly, this question, as you can see, this plane also cuts the x-axis. So I have 1 and y and z as 0 and 0 because this plane does not cut the y and z axis. Now, for this, as you can see, on x-axis, the plane does not cut it. Okay, so it is 0. For y, yes, it does cut it 1 unit, so it is 1 and again 0. For this, of course, it is 0, 1, 0 again. Why? Because this plane is parallel to the next one. Now, these were the Miller indices for faces of the cube. Now, let's study some planes inside the cube. Now, we'll be studying the planes inside the cube. So, these are some examples. Now, how would you do this? See the first question. As you can see, your plane now cuts the z-axis here, as you can see, Your plane also cuts the y-axis, but it does not touches the x-axis. So you can say, okay, it does not touches my x-axis, so it is 0. For y, yes, it does cut, so it is 1, and for z, of course, it is 1 again. So it is 0, 1, 1. Now, let's study the next one. This is the plane. It cuts the z-axis and it cuts the x-axis. It does not touches the y-axis. So it is 1, 0, 1. Look at this example. This plane cuts the y-axis. This plane cuts the x-axis. This plane does no harm to the z-axis. So it is 1, 1, 0. Now, this is the question where you can see a triangular plane. This triangular plane is cutting my x-axis. Yes, of course, it is cutting my x-axis on 1 unit. On y-axis, yes, of course, it is cutting my y-axis at 1 unit. And on z, also it is cutting my z-axis on 1 unit. So, it is cutting x, y, and z. All the 3 axes, and all the 3 axes are being cut at 1, 1, 1 unit, or I can say from equal distance units. So, it would be 1, 1, and 1. Well, this is the way how you identify the Miller indices given a plane. Now, also to remember, if I move my plane parallel to each other, of course, there would be no change in the Miller indices values. Now, let's draw some Miller planes. Now, we are being asked to draw planes having number 1 to 1 or HLK as 1 to 1. This is my unit cell. Now, it is 1 to 1. What we would be doing? We would be taking the reciprocal first, and after taking the reciprocal, we'll get the value as 1, 1 by 2, and 1, as you can see here. So, on x, it is 1 unit. On z, it is 1 unit. And on y, it is half units. So, my plane would be something like this. So now, this is the plane which is touching my x-axis at 1 unit, y-axis at half unit, and z-axis at 1 unit. So, if I'll join all these points, I'll be getting a plane which represents 1, 2, and 1. Let's take the next question. Now we are asked to draw a plane representing Miller indices of 2 to 1. Now, the first step would be, we have 2 to 1. We'll be taking reciprocals, which is 1 by 2, 1 by 2, and 1 by 1. On solving, we'll get 1 by 2, 1 by 2, and 1. So, how would you read this? It is touching my x-axis at half, y-axis at half again, and on z-axis it is touching at 1. So, this would be my point on the z-axis. Somewhere here the point would be on the x-axis, and somewhere here the point would be on the y-axis. So my plane would be looking something like this.
Thank you so much for watching this video. For more videos, stay tuned with Ekeeda and subscribe to Ekeeda.